welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be all about this palette here. This is the Bobbi Brown Jadestone Palette, which she came out with for holiday 2022. So we're going to be doing a lot in today's video. I'll be going over details of this palette, of course, inserting in some swatches, as well as doing 3 eye looks up close and personal. And then I'll just be going over my final thoughts on this palette. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet. And with all that, let's get started talking about the details of this palette. All right, so I haven't even opened this up yet. It came in the mail and I just threw it on my desk, and it's been like a week now. I've been kind of procrastinating doing this video, but here is what the packaging looks like. Very holographic. I would say for holiday, it's a little lackluster to me, but it's still very pretty. I'm not completely mad at it. And then here is what the inside looks like. Make sure I don't blind you. So it does have some really nice greens. Honestly, this green here is what sold me on this palette. So let's just go over what they say on the Bobbi Brown website here. It says, a limited edition holiday ready palette of 12 mattes and metallic shadows that layer lids in warm nudes, sequin-like golds, and alluring greens. This magic-making palette that creates endless enchanting looks from soft and ethereal to smoky and bold is perfect for any seasonal soiree. A festive, limited edition holiday design makes this must-have palette ready to gift or keep. So it does have 12 shades. It is $59 and 6 are matte and 6 are metallic. I'm gonna hold it upside down here. All the matte shades, which you should see in the swatch next to me, they're all browns or very neutral colors. Any of the metallic shades are all like this gold, this green, this kind of lighter gold shade here. So for me, I do like that the mattes are just very neutral colors. That comes in handy for me. I don't have to reach for another palette, but we're gonna see how these perform on the eyes. So I'm gonna scoot you in closer and we're gonna start with look number 1. So for the first look, I really just want to start it out with these greens. It's the main reason I wanted to buy this palette. So I'm going to use this green here, probably this green, and then some of the mattes here. And let's just see how this goes. First up, I'm just going to dip into that bone shade and put this all over the lid. Just kind of lay down a color here. And now that I have that laid down, I'm going to go in with a flat shader brush and take that deep dark forest green and kind of just pack it on the half of my lid, the outer half. We're just going to lay down some shadow right now. And then I'm going to flip it over and use, it's kind of powdery, and use the lighter green kind of right here, just because I don't want it too smoky. All right. We need to trust the process. So I'm going to take this kind of mid-brown, the saddle brown, and just blend it out into the crease here. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. We're just going to hope for the best, but I have faith in myself. It has, I don't know if you can see right here, this dark green has kind of faded away in the outer corner. It has just blended away a little bit. Not sure if I love that. I'm gonna go back in with the initial shade we laid down and just blend this a little bit further up. Let's see. I relay down that really deep dark green shade. Since it kind of went away, then for the lighter green, I'm going to use my finger just because it seems like the metallics maybe need a finger more than a brush. I'm using a natural hair brush, but for some reason it doesn't really seem to be picking up the product. And then I'm just gonna go over the dark green to blend it out a little bit more. And then lastly, I'm gonna take this shade, this even darker shade here, and deepen up the outer crease just a little bit. See what happens with that green as well. These just aren't really like sticking down like I want them to. And this I'll clean up like the outer corner. I've mentioned this in other eyeshadow videos, but I have a hard time seeing in the corners here with my eyesight. So I will clean that up at the end. Not sure how I'm feeling. Every time I put a shadow on top of a shadow to kind of give it more depth, it's really just going away. Like I like this, but it's being kind of odd. I'm gonna take that brown I used to deepen the outer corner and just go under my lash line here. I do want this smoky, but I don't want it overly smoky. So this is the first look so far. I'm gonna finish the second look. We'll go back and clean both up. But you can see that there's quite a bit of fallout right here in this outer corner with the dark green. And I think it's just because I was layering and layering. And then as I was trying to create depth in that outer corner, the dark green was just completely going away. And I think that's what this fallout is. I don't know, I'm not loving this first look. We're gonna try the second look and see where that gets us. But maybe I just need to add mascara and all that to really see the completed look. But this is not what I had envisioned. But let's go to look number 2. For look number 2, let's try and keep it just a little bit more simple. See if that's the issue. I'm gonna try and use this gold here and this gold here, see what we can come up with. Again, I'm gonna go into that lightest, just bone shade and lay down this all over my lid. I'm gonna go into one of these more medium matte browns and just define the crease first this time rather than second. Maybe that is what was causing the issue. I'm now gonna go in with this kind of greeny gold all over the lid and then spotlight with that really bright gold. I'm gonna use my finger since it seems like that is what the metallics need in this palette. We're gonna keep this look a lot more simple. I have a feeling this palette is not meant for complex looks, and complex for me just means probably simple for most people. I'm gonna do that. Take this green gold, kind of just layer this over the center here. I just want to go back in with that brown, just lightly deepen up the crease a little bit more. Then same crease shade on this lower lash line here. Again, before I even do that, like you can see how much fallout there is. And then just blend out that darkened color with that first color we initially laid down. So here is what look number 2 is so far. I'm gonna clean up these outer corners, add some mascara, and then we'll take a look at the final looks for 1 and 2. Here we are, mascara is on. So we have look 1 as well as look number 2. I don't hate the final outcome. I'm just gonna put my glasses on. However, I just think to get there for what I did was a lot more trouble than it needed to be. But I do like this. I had to completely take off my concealer though and reapply it because there was just so much fallout. So right now this is definitely a palette you need to apply before you do your base. But now I'm going to remove this all again and we're gonna do look number 3. Let's move on to the third and final look. So I've used most of the shades in here, but I think we're gonna stick to like this quadrant because I haven't used this metallic, I haven't used this matte or this matte. So let's kind of stick here with more of an everyday. So I'm gonna take this shade first in the crease and then blend it out with this, deepen up with this darker brown here, and then we'll apply that all over the lid. Just so we've really tried all these shades. I did use concealer on my lid and then I powdered with that bone shade to just kind of set it. Gonna just wipe off this brush kind of haphazardly and then go into that lighter shade just to kind of blend this out, the darker shade that we had. Okay, now going into that deepest dark brown and very carefully going on this outer corner here, same brush. Just making sure to blend that a little bit in the crease so it doesn't look like I just have a brown spot in the corner of my eye. But I'm really not going to apply too much of this because I want this to be more of a daytime appropriate look. And then now I'm just going to take my finger again for kind of this warm gold. And we're going to apply that just all over. See where that takes us. Just go back in with that dark, dark brown. Blend it in a little bit more. All right, so here is what look number 3 starting to come together. I'm going to do the other eye off camera as well as apply mascara, do my lower lash line. I will probably just blend these two on the lower lash line here. And then I'll be back with the completed third look. I'm back with look number 3 complete, and it got out of hand fast. I am going to zoom you all out so we can talk about my final thoughts because boy, do I have some. So let's go over just what I think of this palette. So let's go over this palette here. I don't hate the 3 looks that I came up with. While this one came out a lot more smokier than I originally intended, I think all 3 looks came out decent. Now the journey to achieve those 3 looks, not worth it. Don't recommend this palette. I don't like it. Honestly, I'm a little bit upset that I have it. It just all of these shadows are so powdery. I don't like dirty palettes, so I was consistently having to just blow on it to get all the powder away, plus the fallout, not good. This is definitely a palette you're going to have to do your eyes first. I am someone, I don't usually do that. So when a palette is like that, I don't reach for it because I'll kind of just, without thinking, do my base. Then I'll start looking at my eyeshadow palettes. And if I see this palette, I'll be like, oh, I wish I could use that, but I already did my base. So this is just gonna go unused in my collection probably, unless I really specifically think that I want to use this palette. And I just don't like the formula. I don't like how they blended. All of these metallics, again with the fallout, just even when you use your finger, there's just so much glitter on my face. I really like the color story. I like what Bobbi Brown did. This is definitely just like a me palette, which is why I picked it up, because even though it wasn't just screaming holiday, I was like, this is really pretty. I love these olive tone greens. I love that this is what I've been asking for. I always say in all of my review videos that I want these like neutral mattes in here so I don't have to reach for other palettes. It gave me everything that I wanted in a palette, which is why it hurts my heart so much. But the formula is not good. The formula is lackluster for what they advertise having like ethereal looks or dark and smoky looks. It just isn't giving it to me. I feel like this palette is specifically marketed towards people like me who want simple, fast, easy looks. None of the looks I did were complicated by any means, yet I still had trouble using it. So I can only imagine someone else who bought this thinking that they can achieve really sophisticated, simple, easy looks and just the issues they're gonna run into. I think the price point is just way too high. I am so disappointed in this palette. I don't think I've had a disappointment video as much as this palette in quite a long time. I'm really just sad about it. My heart hurts because I love this color story. I can't say it enough. I used practically every shade in here, so this is not a factor of some shades are better than others. All of these shades I would say are consistent in that they're just powdery and they're flaky. And some of the differences I would say is specifically like this dark forest green you saw. Once I laid it down and put a shadow over it to try and blend it, it completely just faded. But it didn't fade, it dropped all over my face. So I don't recommend this. I wish I had more positive things to say about it, but I really don't. Let me know in the comments if you picked up this palette, if you had an easier time than me. Maybe I'm using the wrong brushes. I used basically all my rougher brushes, so I used natural hair brushes with this. Maybe it needs a synthetic brush. Normally that's not the case, but maybe it is. Let me know if you have any suggestions in the comments for me. But that's where I'm gonna end this video. I hope this was helpful. I hope the swatches and looks kind of gave you some insight, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.